Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So, on my blog, I share how I made my fortune in real estate. Starting at 19 years old, I made my first million by the time I was 28, and that's like almost 40 years ago when I started, right? And so, on the blog here, I share with people how I did it and what I still do today. And today, I thought we'd look at Jerry Norton. Okay, I did a little video on him one time before. We do these live events, and we decided who we want to go look at. Went and took a look at him, and that was the first time I really looked at anything that he had done back then. And here we go. Anyways. I thought today, I had somebody ask me. They said, "Hey, what do you think of this guy?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know him. Number one, and but I found this video that just came out, and because just somebody just asked me about him the other day, and I thought, well, we'll take a look at him. Anyways, some of you guys already know him, maybe. Comment if you do, say so. You can call in too if you want. I think I got the phone going. He's a wholesaler. And so, from what I know about wholesaling, and look, I've flipped deals before, and I think that's basically what everybody means today when they say a wholesaler. Somebody that ties up a property that they don't own it, and then they flip it without ever owning it. Okay, anyhow, one of my buddies, hey Liam, glad you're here. Everybody, Jeffrey, Delta, Carlos, glad you're here. So, anyways, we'll take a look at Jerry here in a minute, and we'll go from there. All right, so this is his video. Let me see here. There we go. Is that it? Golly, I can't tell one from the other anymore. Let's see. Friday. Here we go. All right. So the only other wholesaler that I know, and I mean, is right here. This guy, Flipman, Ty. I reached out to him, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and we did a couple videos interviewing each other, actually. And what I come away with is, Ty's a real deal. He's done some deals that would be terribly uncomfortable for a lot of people to do, but he made it happen, and he's actually built quite a channel too. Anyways, so but I just barely caught up with him just recently, again lately, but Ty is a good guy, and I know that he's real. Jerry, everybody, people know I scrutinize everybody. I don't know who's a fraud and who's not. But I watched a little bit of this, and I liked what I heard, so I thought, let's go ahead and let's give Jerry a go here, listen to what he's got. As usual, I'm going to play things just a little bit faster speed. He's got like a 13-minute video here, so I'm going to start it up, and I may skip through some of it, but let's just see what it starts out with and how it goes.
When it comes to wholesaling real estate, after you find a good deal and a cash buyer, you need a wholesaler-friendly title company to close the transaction. The right title company will result in a smooth transaction. The wrong title company can kill your deal. So get ready to look over my shoulder and watch me get a wholesaler-friendly title company to close my wholesale.
So right off the bat, he does have a point there. It's just good to have you want to have a title company that you have rapport with, and that's really what he's saying. When he says a wholesale friendly, he's talking about somebody he has rapport with, or that you're going to have rapport with if you get something going like that. It is very important. And I try to close all my deals through the same title office. It doesn't happen, and it doesn't matter that much, to be honest, but it does matter sometimes. And I'll give you an example. I just made a killer deal yesterday. You guys know I bought something 10 days ago. Well, I got another one really great tied up yesterday, and I made a video on it. And coincidentally, it's the only video I think I've ever videoed. I had my son video me, and so you guys will see how I handled this thing on the phone. It was pretty cool. I snatched it out of somebody else's hands. It was really, they were heartbroken the next morning, believe me. And that's what you want to do. So But just so you know, Jerry doesn't talk this fast. I've got it speeding up a little bit so we can get through it quicker. Let's go.
Deal coming up.
This video is brought to you by 10K Club, a program that pays you $10,000 for finding ugly houses. Learn more at my10kcheck.com.
Yeah, so one of you said in here, so look, basically we didn't call it wholesaling. I mean, I didn't have anybody teaching me, number one, but I would tie up deals that I couldn't afford, and I would go look for a partner, and then that turned into assignments where I just assign the deal. So like they're talking about this 10K club, that's basically, it sounds like, you find a great deal, they'll give you 10K to get out of the way and let them buy it, which, hey, I'm game, I'll do that too. So you can call it Tom's 10K club if you want, over here at my video, but at my place. So somebody wrote here, wholesaling is creepy to sellers, to be honest. Bringing different people in the seller's house makes you look like a realtor, which is something you don't want unless you're a realtor. So Sims is talking about exactly what I was talking about with Ty. But listen, if you start with nothing, you got to make do with what you got. And sometimes, I've never done that. And I've got an app, my FlipAnything app, you can get it. It actually kind of lets you do wholesaling from afar, or at least, dangle the carrot out there to investors. So get my app. If you have an iPhone, you can get it. It's not on Android. I had it. They took it off for some reason. I got to mess with it. It's not that important to me, but Tim K got it. Oh, yeah, there you go, Jeffrey. So anyways, so look, but I want to say what he said right off the bat is important, and that is you got to have good rapport with your title company, no matter what. Let's keep going. For me, I do it because I've got so many different entities that the entities are complicated. They've got to know who is the signer, and the capacity of and of course I have the capacity to sign for everything. But let's keep watching here.
If you're new here, I'm Jerry Norton. I went from dead broke to millionaire flipping houses, and after doing 1,000 deals, I created this channel to help you master the art of...
So I got to say, 1,000 deals. He's done 1,000 deals. That is pretty remarkable. I won't say unbelievable, but it is kind of unbelievable. 1,000 deals. He doesn't look that old. I don't know how long he's been doing this, but if he's been doing it 15 years, that sounds like about 70 deals a year, right? Which is a lot of deals. But let's keep watching.
Wholesaling and flipping real estate so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released.
Subscribe to my channel too.
You need a closing company to handle the transfer from the seller to the buyer. Now, some states use title companies, some use attorneys, and some use escrow companies. Google your state to see what is used, but they all have the same function: to close a real estate transaction.
Okay, you know what? I'm actually going to go back and slow down this because this is actually it is interesting. And it's a good point. It's not that important necessarily, but it's important. And so just so you know what he's talking about, because we did fast through it here. So he's talking about all this stuff in orange up here. These are states that use escrow companies. And, and listen, I made my first million right here in California over 30 years ago when I first became in the Millionaires Club, right? And it was escrow. Well, then when I came over to other states and started working, and really I did deals in Idaho and I did some other stuff. I did a deal in Nevada, and it was escrow companies. So he's right about that. Never done anything in New Mexico, but now Texas I've done a lot of deals in. So in Texas, it's title companies, which basically it's the same damn thing. The title companies seem to keep an attorney on site. In other words, there's always an attorney that runs the title company. That's my experience with title companies when they call themselves a title company. There's a lawyer that owns the place or runs the place, and he's there, and he puts his eyes on things. But anyway, usually I think it's their own company. Where in the escrow companies, I'm not aware that there was ever a lawyer inside the building. You would get your own lawyer. Seller could get their lawyer, buyer get their own lawyer, and either way you go in. But still, they function the same in as much as they would, like I say, I call it like I try to dumb it down for people in as much as an escrow company or a title company is like the DMV, right? They're like the Department of Motor Vehicles, except they're not motor vehicles. They're houses. They basically, pass here's the property, and now you're the beneficiary, or they name the beneficiaries that you owe money to when you borrow. Because it's not it's easy. It's easy to buy property. It's as easy as buying a car, as far as I'm concerned. even easier probably in some ways. But this is a good distinction that he's making. And then he's got these green states. I don't know anything about this. Closing attorney. So it's interesting. So when he says he's closed 1,000 deals, my guess is he's he worked at a phone bank or something like that. And I'm not diminishing what he's doing. But to do that many deals, it sounds like, and to know as much as he knows about every state, it may be because, they're like like a call center. And maybe that's where he worked and maybe he did that. And, I'm not diminishing it at all. But this is good information right here. It's true information. And
but they all have the same
let's keep
function
watching.
to close a real estate transaction. For simplicity, I'm going to refer to the closing company as the title company on this video. When wholesaling, due to the nature of assigning a contract, choosing a wholesaler-friendly title company can make or break your deal. It's that important. So let me take a minute and explain the process, and then we're going to cut to a call where you'll see me discuss a real live deal with my title closing agent so you can get a better idea of what to say and how it works. I'm also going to reference several videos and free resources to help you throughout the process. First, let's discuss the 5 steps to doing a wholesale deal and where the title company plays a role. Step number 1 is to find a good deal with a motivated seller and execute a purchase and sale agreement for, let's say, $100,000. Now, if the property is on market, the real estate agent will handle the contract using their state-approved forms, so you don't have to worry about it. If the property is off market, like in my case, you have to provide the contract because the seller doesn't have one. Now, be sure to stay to the end of this video and I'll show you how to get my contract for free. And if you want to know how to fill out a purchase and sale agreement, I did a video where I break it down in detail. I'll put the link to that video in the description below for you. Once you have an executed contract with the seller, step 2 is what's called open escrow. Now, this means you get a copy of your contract to a title, escrow, or attorney, depending on your state, and they will do a
Is everybody keeping up with this, or is he going too fast? So I need to slow it down. He doesn't talk as slow as some people. Are you guys cool with this speed? Somebody say yes or no. Oh, Liam says this dude has many people doing this for him. I use a napkin. All right. Look, is it going too fast or not? Somebody tell me. Let's just keep it going this speed. Okay, thanks, funny.
Title search and prepare for a closing based on the close of escrow date in the contract that you agreed to with the seller. Typically that is 30 days, but it could be as soon as 10 days to 2 weeks. Now, you want to open escrow right away because if there are issues with title, you want to know about it as soon as possible. For example, the seller isn't on title, or there are back taxes that need paid, or any number of issues that could prevent the sale from happening. And in case you're wondering, the fee to pay for the title company to close a transaction is not typically paid up front at the time of opening escrow, but rather paid at the closing by either the buyer or the seller or both. And I've never paid for title work for a deal that did not close. Okay, step 3, after you've opened escrow, it's time to find.
So that's good information. You just actually answered a lot of questions that people ask that don't know any better. Does it cost any money to open up escrow? No. Are there any fees due if you don't close escrow? I would say no. Is there any title fees? No, because they're selling you a policy of title insurance. That the reason the title insurance is so important is because for the very reason you said, you want to make sure the people who are selling you the property own it. You want to make sure that the people that are selling you the property own it free and clear. You want to have clear title. So that's why all that stuff is so important. Let's keep watching.
Find your cash buyer, and once you do, you'll need to execute an assignment agreement. Now, this contract states that the cash buyer agrees to take over the existing contract for a fee. So, for example, if the original contract is for $100,000 and you assign your contract for $115,000, the cash buyer is agreeing to pay the seller $100,000 as per the original contract, and then you, the wholesaler, would earn a $15,000 wholesale fee. The assignment agreement is a simple document.
Okay, so what he's talking about is something that I discovered myself like, almost 40 years ago, probably 38 years ago, probably 2 years after my first deal, maybe a year after my first deal that I bought when I was 19. And what happened is I found a great deal on another building. It was worth maybe $220, and I was getting it for $150. And so I was looking for money. I thought, we'll buy this. I'll find a partner, and we'll split it. We'll make some great money. Who has money? Well, I didn't know anybody that really had money, nobody in my family. But my old boss, my old employer. So I went to my old employer and I said, "Hey, is it pretty low? Well, I'll try to speak it up here a little bit." Anyways, so what happened was I went to my boss, and you guys know the story, most of you. My boss offered me, he said, "Tom," he goes, "you got a great deal here. It's fantastic." He goes, "But I don't want a partner." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "What I mean is, how about I give you $20,000 and I'll buy it by myself?" And that was my introduction to assignments. I just said, "Hey, absolutely." I thought that was a fantastic idea. I assigned it to him. And that is how I made my first $20,000 as an assignment, or what you guys are calling wholesaling. I had a contract ready to buy. I was looking for a partner, and I ended up turning it into a flip. And I tell you, that is why you don't necessarily have to have money. It's great to have money, and believe me, I blow people off, out of the water because I come in with cash and I pay for a house in 3 days. I do a lot of that. And it's an advantage I have now that I didn't used to have. But I know very well the problems with being broke and trying to negotiate deals. And you learn that in my book. That's my book in the corner over here. And a lot of you are in here. All right. Anyways, let's keep going. You guys are going to have to just turn it up if it's low. Sorry.
There's only one page, but you have to provide that to your cash buyer. Now stick around and I'll show you how to get mine for free. And if you want to know how to fill out an assignment agreement, I did a video where I break it down in detail. Link to that video in the description below. Step 4, once you have an executed assignment contract with your cash buyer, you need to get a copy of that to the same title company that you opened escrow with originally, and the cash buyer will need to give a substantial, non-refundable earnest money deposit also to the same title company. Now I typically ask for $5,000. That commits your cash buyer to the deal. If you're unsure why a cash buyer pays earnest money or why it should be non-refundable, I have a video that explains all of those reasons.
So one thing I'll say is you test sincerity with the wallet. So I got to say, like I say, he insists on a $5,000, it sounds like a deposit from a cash buyer if they're going to assign it to him, or if he's going to assign it to somebody. And of course, if you have everything locked up and you can show that the title is clear, because if I was going to pay somebody an assignment fee, you can bet I make sure I take their position. I usually make them, I'll pay it when it closes or upon closing, because I want to know that the title is clear, okay? In other words, for all the reasons that he already stated earlier, I'm not going to give somebody an assignment fee unless I know the property is clear. And that's, in other words, no encumbrances, right? No debts, no liens, no tax liens. I just had one come up, a guy had a $100,000 tax lien. Can't buy it. He can't sell it and make any money is the problem. So let's keep listening.
In detail, link in the description. So now your wholesaler-friendly title company has the original contract with the seller for $100,000 and the assignment contract with the cash buyer for $115,000. If your title company is wholesaler-friendly, they know exactly what to do. And if you're wondering, because I know you are, where to find a wholesaler-friendly title company in your state, I have a list that covers almost every state. I'll put a link to that in the description below for you. Step number 5 is to close the transaction. The title company.
Look, I think every title company is going to be wholesale-friendly, to be honest. You go in there, as long as you don't waste their time, okay? Because they're in the business of selling title policies, and that's how they make their money. In fact, title companies, escrow companies, they bend over backwards. As for realtors, they do their farm packages for them and everything else. But he might have a list, and maybe there may be some, there might be a high failure rate with this kind of business, for this wholesaling at a mass quantity that could irritate a title company, and maybe some are like, we don't want anything to do with it. Could be, I don't know, but we'll keep listening.
Company is going to coordinate with the seller to sign for the closing of $100,000. More than likely, the title company will create a separate closing statement so the seller sees just his side of the transaction. This prevents the seller from seeing your wholesale fee, which is on the buyer side of the transaction. Then the title company will schedule for the cash buyer to sign for $115,000. On the buyer side statement, there will be a line item that shows the assignment fee of, in this example, $15,000. And upon receiving funds of $115,000 plus any closing fees from the cash buyer, the title company will distribute your check for $15,000 either by wire or check. Now, if you do not want the cash buyer to see your $15,000 wholesale fee, you can structure what I call a double closing in escrow, where you do 2 separate closings and use the cash buyer's funds to fund both transactions. Of course, I did a video that breaks it down in detail. You know the drill. Link in the description.
See, now, and that's what I've typically done is double closings, and I don't even do that many of them, to be honest, because if I got the cash to close a deal, then the chances are I don't need, in other words, if I can close a deal, I don't need to do a wholesale deal. In other words, I don't have to have a buyer on the other side. Now, if I can put a deal together where somebody wants it and I don't want it, then I would certainly do it, so that we do a double close and then he gets something that I don't want to get stuck with. That makes sense to me too. But generally on a double close, and I have done them. In fact, I sold a property for $2.8 million. I sold one, and this is a property I made over $2 million on, by the way, which you'll learn about that in my book too, or in my mentorship course. But when I sold that property that I made the $2 million, I sold for $2.8 million. I made $2.5 million on it, but I sold it for $2.8 million, and the guy that bought it, he kind of did a double closing, but I think it was an inside deal, meaning he turned it and made $150,000 on his investors that were buying with him. And anyways, there's 180 homes sitting on it now. But we'll keep listening.
Now, if you'd like to get a copy of my purchase and sale agreement and my assignment agreement for free, leave a comment and say, Jerry, you are a flipping genius. Give me those free contracts and I'll give you the download link. Now let's talk about my deal for a minute and then cut to a live call I did with my wholesaler-friendly title agent. Now on this deal, I had the original contract with the seller for $206,000 and a cash buyer for $231,000 who put down a $5,000 non-refundable deposit. And as you can see right here, that gave me a $25,000 assignment fee on this deal. And this was a fast closing, only 2 weeks from the original contract. So to recap, I opened escrow, I got title a copy of both contracts, and the buyer turned in his $5,000 earnest money to title right away. Then I did a call with the title agent and my dispositions manager a few days before the scheduled closing to make sure both the seller and the buyer were ready and everything was on track. Take a listen to that call. Well, thanks for your help with this one. Are we still looking good for Friday?
Well,
Okay, I'm going to kind of skip through this call because this call doesn't seem that important to me. But I will. Let's go back to his contract that he was talking about. I mean, look, he's going to talk to a title officer. It's not that important. I mean, it's not that important to me. But let's look at this for a second. This contract. Okay, so look, he got a $5,000 earnest money deposit. He said it was non-refundable. I guess. Well, he got that. I see. So basically, yeah, I get it. And I have to guess a little bit. But he got a property tied up, and maybe he made a deal where it was going to be a $5,000 non-refundable deposit. But, of course, it's going to be contingent on clear title and that sort of thing. And so with that, he's passing the burden on to the buyer, his buyer, the one that's going to buy from him. He's making a deal to buy, and now somebody's making a deal to buy from him, obviously for $231,000, and he's buying it for $205,000 or $206,000. He's going to make $25,000. Now, I wouldn't buy a property and flip it in this situation. I wouldn't buy it to make 10%. I just wouldn't do it. It's not enough. It's not enough. And you guys know I try to buy stuff 30% on the market, but I close it. I also close it. But if I was going to buy this property, this is how I would buy it. In other words, I wouldn't buy it. I would have it flipped. Maybe I'd go in and go through this ordeal that he's doing here and say, look, I'll buy it for whatever, $200, and I'm selling it for $225 and do basically a double closing, or have it understood that my money's not getting touched. I'm using this guy's $5,000. He gave it to me. He knows it's going to be gone if he doesn't close the deal. So this makes sense, and I think it's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't do this deal for myself. And this is what he's kind of doing. This is what he's doing is he's making a deal, and he's clear of it. In other words, if the buyer that wants to buy it from him is overpaying for it, even if it's overpaying at $200,000, it's not his problem because he's not going to close it. And the $5,000, maybe it's going to go to the seller that he's made the deal with. He may not even get this $5,000 at this point. He may only make money if it closes, and that's okay too. So, anyways, no issues. It's just want to make sure everybody understands it. Let's get through this call. I just don't think this call's important.
Like title search and report and all that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to skip through that. Let's see where he gets off the phone here.
Gotcha. And then once it's funded, then Spencer, she just cuts a check for the assignment amount.
Yeah, I'll actually send you guys a form just to be.
All right. Anyways, okay, let's go.
Left until it was ready to close. Title is waiting for the HOA fees that need to be paid as well as the payoff from the seller's lender. So if there are any existing liens, such as a mortgage in this case, then that will need to be paid off out of the proceeds of the seller's funds. And in fact, I did a video that explains in detail how to wholesale a house where the seller has an existing mortgage, link in the description. And did you notice that the buyer is using hard money to purchase the home, but that's not a problem. His lender is ready to go. The cool thing is you don't need to attend the closing unless you want to. The title company handles everything and will cut you a check and overnight it to you, or what I prefer is they'll wire it right to my account. So I hope this video helped you see the steps to wholesaling a house and where the title company fits into the picture. If you're still working on your first deal, I want you to watch a video where I show you exactly.
Okay, so you know what? I think that was a good video. I think there's good information in there. This wholesaling stuff is not for me, for sure not. And I mean, at the level he's talking about, I am not going to juggle a seller and a buyer. I mean, I'm not going to do that because I don't have to. But listen, if you can make that happen, and believe me, I know, listen, there's offers. This is what's going on right now. Something hits the MLS. There's 3 offers on it within 5 minutes. and they're not even really legitimate offers. They're just offers from wholesalers, and some of them are even paying full or just under market to see if they can get it tied up, and they're not sincere. They're not sincere, and that's what makes some of the wholesaler guys annoying, and that's what can make a wholesaler annoying, is that they're making bad offers, and and a lot of people believe in just shotgun out and make a bunch of bad offers and see what sticks. I don't work that way. I try to increase my probabilities of success by having a better list, but also I teach you a lot more about getting there first. You got to be there first. If you can't be there first, be there second. And I got a great story for you guys. In fact, I just walked the house and videotaped it a little while ago. This is one that I made a deal on the night before last. And hey, Liam, I'm glad you're here. Liam here, he's killing it. He's did my mentorship, and he's really making some great deals, and just retired. And he's a carpenter like me, so we have a lot to talk about, especially on the renovations and the deals and such. Anyways, but hey, look, nice, Jerry, nice video. No, I got really nothing to critique or be critical on. I think he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about it on this particular aspect of real estate. So good for him. And look, I'll jump over here for a second. This is I'm gonna. Me and Flipman here are probably going to do some sort of video here. We talked about it here just recently. But Flipman is a pretty good guy, too. Let's just watch the beginning of this for a second, just for the hell of it.
You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Bag.
Hello, guys, and welcome.
Anyhow, boy, he's increased his production quite a bit, so that's kind of a kick. Anyway, so let's get to some questions here. I'm going to be in the doghouse here pretty soon if I don't get out of here, but let me get to these questions that you got. Hey, Cyrus, glad you're here, man. All right, so look, people have been asking me to check out Jerry Norton, and so that's what I did. You'll have to, if you just got here, you'll have to go back and watch it. So look, Juice Breath, he's asking a lot of questions here. Obviously, I can't answer them while I'm doing too much here, but he said, if all these guys make so much money in real estate, why do they need to sell courses? That's a good point. I've been doing it for 40 years, okay, so I don't need to sell courses. I'm already wealthy. But the fact is I made it a book that I wanted my kids to have. I wanted to have something to lay down a groundwork for my kids that are too young. I'm kind of an old dad. I started late. I mean, I got 2 out of college, and I got 2 boys that are not even 18 yet. And but in the process, I made my channel, I made my YouTube channel, and then people started asking, and then I realized, you know what, I can help people all over the world, and that's what I've been doing. And Cyrus is in the course, actually just popped in. Liam has actually already made some money. He's the one who said buy the book. I've got testimonials of people doing it. But really, it's a good question, Juice Breath, because here's the deal. A lot of people, I'll tell you right now, most of the people that sell this information can't do it. There's a saying, those that teach can't do. Now, I don't believe that's exclusively true, but it is true for a lot of people. And it's just, it doesn't mean anything for somebody to say how easy it is if they've never done it. And some deals are easy. I've had deals fall in my lap that were fantastic. But, that's kind of like an actor that gets their break, right? They're going, oh, gee, they made $100 million, in a year. And it's overnight. Well, it wasn't overnight. They've been auditioning for 30 years before that. So not everything happens that great. But let's see here. All right, so let's go. Let's get to. I'm going to go from the bottom. Can't wait to see the finished product of the houses you are flipping. Hey, thanks, Cyrus. Yeah. So look, if you just got here watching me, I actually. I'm doing a lot of renovations. I'm renovating like 5 houses right now, and I've been so busy I haven't been in the studio. So I turn on I go live. I've been going live almost every morning and showing a little bit of progress on these things. And I'm putting some really great videos together that's going to really give you some details, give you a lot of tips. And like I say, even if you're not handy or you're not a carpenter, this is really good information because you'll know what can be done. It's so important to know what you can do to fix a house or fix a property or redo a kitchen without going overboard. And believe me, those are my least popular videos, but they're actually very important to people. And that's like Liam just said, what's the improvement going to cost, that sort of thing. And yeah, I don't like auctions. Auctions to me are a waste of time. You go to auctions, and what happens is you've got people that actually just want to buy the house and live in it, and they might even have the help of mom and dad. And in other words, you got a lot of people there that'll pay full price. You want to, if you want to get a foreclosure, get a pre-foreclosure, okay? And my first assignment, that 20 grand, that was a pre-foreclosure. People were going down, they were going under. And that's what you learn in my book and you learn in my mentorship is people, the same problems repeat in every city in the USA and around the damn world all the time. People are getting divorced. Some go into drugs or drunks. They get depressed. A lot of D's, drug, depression, dying, and inheritance. Oh my God, people squander inheritance. This last deal I just bought, again, it was, I just bought a property. And this is one that went on the market. It went on the market, and I just snagged it. And I paid about 15% over the asking price. And guess what? It was still about 33% under value. And let me tell you, that was a fight, 10 people. But you're going to learn, and I got that purely by persistence. But you got to understand how to persist and how to make things happen. And there is some manipulation. And, you just got to understand, if you know everything that's going on, it's easier to make a deal if you have a bigger understanding. And that's what you get. When you take my mentorship, you're getting taught by me personally. And once you get through that 1 month fast track, then if you need me, you call me or you text me, and you can ask anybody that's in here that's in the class. Liam particularly, he's called me. We were texting back and forth last night, and I enjoy it. Listen, there's nothing better for me than for somebody to make $100,000 or a couple $100,000. Somebody even my age or younger. That's just I got a young guy, Eric. I can't wait to have him when he sells his property he just bought. He's already bought a trailer park and some other things. Hey, Anne Marie, I can't wait for you to make a deal too. I want you to make some money. Yeah, that would be wonderful. So this Sims property market value is kind of a myth. Conditions are never perfect enough to determine market value. Look at comparables, especially ones that have been remodeled. Yeah, there's some good information, I think, what you're saying, Sims, and that is basically, I can tell you right now, I know value better than an appraiser. I know value better than the agents usually around me, okay? And that's why it's really like a superpower. You know what? I tell people, look, I'm in jiu-jitsu. I love grappling, and jiu-jitsu is like a superpower because if you've never done jiu-jitsu, this is the thing. When you get in a fight, everybody understands getting punched and hit in the face and all that sort of thing. But in jiu-jitsu, what ends up happening in almost all fights, right, end up in a headlock, or even if you're beating somebody and they get you, or vice versa, you grab them in a headlock to stop the beating and bring them down to the ground. Well, once you get down to the ground, if the person doesn't know jiu-jitsu, they're like a fish out of water flopping around, and you're like, oh, good, I'm in my zone. Well, that's kind of like real estate. If you understand everything, you know how to play the game better than the other guys. And that's what I teach you, okay? And I got a long record of success. And I'd walk you, I keep about 130,000 square feet of rentals that I own personally, that I bought, each and every one of those myself. I own them with my kids. My kids are my partners now. Of course, and I'm the one who made all the money, but they are my partners. But that's what it is. It's like that. And that's, so listen, if you're watching here for the first time, get my book, spend $10, take a chance on getting ripped off for $10 or $20 in paperback. It'll be the best money that's ever been. If you want to feel ripped off, you'll never feel ripped off. You can read the testimonials. It's great information, and it's something that you can only acquire through my experience. 40 years of this stuff, okay? Anyways, let's keep going here on these questions. What advice would you give someone who is a first-time older dad? I don't know. Look, I say I'm kind of an old dad. I had my first kids when I was 33. But anyways, you know what? Listen, you got to get started. You got to make some money. Listen, I don't care if you're 50 or 60 years old. If you don't have any money, then you know what? If you can just get started, and if you can make 10 grand, that makes a difference in your life. Make 100 grand, even that can make a significant difference in the rest of your life. 100 grand, right? Pay off your house, or buy a house, or buy a trailer and pay cash for your trailer and have a trailer. I don't know, but money is wonderful. I mean, it makes your life easier. Bottom line, and you got to help people you care about. Okay, Lazar, from Serbia. Great. Get my book. If you can buy property there, get my book. I'm sure it'll help. Okay. Nah, Sims, I'm going to disagree. He said if you're just starting out and don't have no money at all, first thing you need to do is buy a house to live in. Totally disagree. Here's the deal. I bought 5 houses before I lived in my first house. And the first property I bought a building. And the building I bought, somebody offered me 20 grand more than I paid for it the day or two after I closed. And I got it owner financed. I was 19 with no credit, okay? So there is no, and that's why, Sims, I'll tell you, and I know you've been watching a while, and I don't mean to discredit what you're saying, but I totally disagree, because that's not my experience. I have made money. If you don't have any money, you just got to learn value. And if you can understand value, I don't care if it's a duplex, I don't care if it's a trailer, I don't care if it's a car. If you know what value is, you get it tied up. You get between what somebody has and what somebody wants, and now you're in between, and that's where you make your money. And that's the main thing. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily need financing. You need the deal. You get a deal. And like even what Jerry was just talking about, you got the 10K club, they'll pay somebody to get out of the way. Well, I learned that. I just learned that by trying to find a partner, and the partner said, hey, how about I just give you money and I buy it by myself? And I was like, awesome. I made 20. He probably made 50. That's okay. Even if he made 100, I don't care. Okay, so, all right. Look, anybody got any questions specific? I see you guys are talking between each other. That's great. Glad to see it. Yes, you can. You can continue making. Okay, good, man. I love it when my students answer questions for other people. I really do. Yeah, you're not. Listen, okay, Juice. How old are you, Juice Breath? Just tell me how old you are, please. Because these questions you're asking, I'm not even saying it's because you're young, but you need to ramp up on, get the knowledge. Yeah, okay, well, so look, Juice Breath, you're not going to find 30% off homes in general on websites. It's not going to happen. You understand, if it goes on the web, the whole world can see it, okay? So don't look for 30% off deals on websites. You're probably not going to find it. Now, and I'm not saying exclusively, because I actually have some tips for some of that, but you're not going to find homes usually like that. Anyways, all right. Cool. Look, guys, I'm going to go. I got to get going. I'm already pushing it a lot later. It takes me longer to do these things than I do. Please subscribe. If you're trying to hit my subscribe button, oh, there it goes. And hit that like button. Watch my videos. Watch my remodel videos. Look, I got deals where I show where I've made a couple $1 million, made $5 million over a period of, by transferring stuff. That's just one of my entities, made over $5 million, right? Maybe almost $7 million now. Watch that video. I think it's 50,000 to 3 million or 4 million. I can't remember what, 5.4 million or something like that. That's a keyword, 5.4 million. And then the other is $60,000, on a lot. And I show you a lot of deals, $300,000 on a property, a vacant land. I mean, I've made a lot of deals, and that's the kind of experience you guys need. Is you need a variety of things, because you're in different places. You're in, some people, they're like in places where it's not very active, but guess what? It might be a great place for cash flow, there's just all kinds of opportunities out there. Absolutely. So many different opportunities out there. And don't let anybody be a naysayer, don't let anybody tell you, you can't do that and you can't do this. Listen, I can tell you right now, you can do anything. You can do anything. That's the beauty of real estate. There are no rules. especially you can do owner financing. You can, I mean, look, you can do this wholesaling stuff, which is I'm not a big fan of, but I appreciate it. I appreciate people making money out of it. But anyways, that's it. I'm going to say bye now. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and take care.